see my slide. Please kindly confirm that you can see my slide. All right, thank you. So today we are looking at understanding and incorporating real estate title documents and land titles in marketing and sales. So this topic is two in one, right? The first part is you need to understand it, and there are two things to understand: title, then the other one is document. Now these two are not the same, right? Some people will define title as document or document as title. They are not the same. So that's the first thing I would like to clarify. Number two is that you need to also incorporate it in your marketing and sales. There was a guy that closed a deal of, I think, over 100 million naira property. And what happened on that day? He listened to, or maybe he read, or he attended a training like this where they distinguish between certificate of occupancy, which is CFO, and governor's consent. So, what's the difference between CFO and governor's consent? So, he went for that particular. He didn't even, of course, he wasn't expecting that that kind of question would come from the client. And so, the client asked him, "What's the difference between CFO and governor's consent?" That was, especially when we're in school, if you just read something and somebody asks you a question on that, you are likely to download it very well. So he downloaded the differences, and that was how he closed that deal. So, as a realtor, you need to understand these things, and you need to know all these things so that you can close your deals seamlessly. I won't go into introduction. That has been well done. So, first thing I would like to say is that, according to Theodore said, nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. I always like to use this quote in my trainings, and this goes to the root of whatever you are doing as a realtor. It's not just how much you know. You know properties in Ogun State, in Ibadan, in Lagos, but do you even care about these people, right? Do you care about them? Or you just want to build, or you just want to sell, or you just want to. So, every one of us in the industry, whether as lawyers or as realtors or as developers or whatever, we need to also care about these people. Don't forget, some of these guys, they are using their retirement money to invest with you, right? And if you say, no, they are not investing with me, I'm only a realtor, I'm sorry to say, they are actually investing with you because most of them don't even know. They don't even know the developer. I tell you, they don't know the MD of Alphco. They don't know him. All they know is that there is one person called Eunice that wants to give them this property. They don't know anybody. Most of our investors are lazy. They don't care. And so, please, you need to care about them. Because some of them, they are actually coming to Nigeria, and that is the only thing they are thinking of, right? A backup plan. Right, so let's go into it. So, our introduction, why do we need to learn titles and documents? Number one is that they serve as legal proof of ownership, and they also prevent disputes. Another thing is that it is essential for building buyer confidence and trust. Real estate today is not the way it was done in the days of, I will mention the names of companies now. It's not the way it was done in the days of Revolution Plus and some other companies that when real estate started then, they were like the few companies around. And we've not gotten to the government of Sanwo-Olu when we started having issues of demolitions and all of that. So they were able to, in Yoruba, I don't know if you understand this, but in my language, they will say one jello. That means they were able to get a lot of properties sold without people really considering trust or what will happen to this property in the next few years. Buyers are now more, inclined as to, do I have confidence in this company or in this property? The number of realtors have messaged me, they'll say, my client is saying he doesn't want to buy this property because of this, and I'll say, okay, this is what you can do, but if the client insists that they don't want to buy it, then there's nothing you can do. You just have to let this deal go, right? So also they influence pricing. So when we talk about documents, title, they influence how much the property is worth. You're trying to sell a property that has a government allocation, or because some clients will even send it to you and say, you are sending me two properties in the same location. This costs more than this. Why? You need to be able to tell them that, the reason is because this has a government allocation title or a CFO title, this has a freehold title or this other title. This is very key, right? It also goes into the valuation, the financing option of that particular property. Some clients now, I know somebody reached out to me, she said the client wanted to do a mortgage option, right, to buy the property, right? And then when they sent the document to bank, the bank did their checks and they saw that the real estate company's name was not on the documents. So apparently they've transferred it from two people. So there's like the third generation, right? So issues like this come up. How do you treat them? So it also helps in marketing and closing deals faster. So what is our objective? Number one is we need to understand key real estate titles documents, then also key real estate land titles, then how can we incorporate them? So these are the two objectives. If I'm able to achieve this, then I did not waste your time. If you are able to understand these documents, the title, and how you can use them in your videos, in your marketing, then we've had a good evening. So let's look at it. Don't sell a product, sell value. Now, nobody cares that you are selling real estate. In fact, nobody cares that your child is out of school and you need to sell this property for the child to go back to school so that you can pay the school fees. Nobody cares. Nobody cares that you want to go on vacation and spend time with your husband or your wife. Or nobody cares that this real estate is what is helping you to stay afloat. Nobody cares. What your customer cares about is, what is the need for me? And when you are selling, this is what you should go after. I've seen some adverts in social media spaces where people will be saying, please patronize me now. Don't let me do please patronize. Sorry, nobody cares. Everybody is looking at what is in it for me. And that is why your marketing should be able to answer this question. If your marketing is not able to answer this question, sorry, you've not been able to do good marketing. So don't sell a product, sell value to them. What will this product do to them, right? And we'll be looking at some of them in this video. Number one, understanding land titles. What is land titles and what is land documents? So these two things are what we're going to look at. What is the meaning of these two terminologies, right? And there are a lot of terminologies that we use in real estate, and please get familiar with these things, because even though you say you are not a lawyer, some of you read documents on behalf of clients, and some of you have held out yourself to say you are a real estate consultant. These things have very strong legal implications, right? So please, it's very key. If you call yourself a real estate consultant, it means that you know everything about real estate, and then you are able to carry your client on the backdrop of what you know to recommend properties to them, right? And it is with the understanding that, of course, this person knows real estate properly. So real estate terminologies is one of the things I would like you to. So that's assignment number one. Please go and read about different terminologies in real estate. So one of them is titles. What is title? Title in law means ownership. Title in law means property. So There are three words you can use for title. You can use title, you can use property, you can use ownership. I know property sounds strange, but that is a legal terminology. You may not hear it everywhere, but you're in a law class with the property lawyer. So yeah, that's like a bonus for you, right? So property, title, ownership, they mean the same thing. They mean ownership. So ownership is something that you are well familiar with. So title means ownership, property means ownership, ownership means title, and then so you can use these terminologies interchangeably, right? So title means the legal status of land. When the MD was speaking, he said the new development is has a freehold title. It means that the legal status of the land is free from government acquisition, right? We'll still get into that. But what is title? Title means the legal status of that land. Now, what is document? Document is the records, the agreement that proves that that title exists. There are some titles. Title is like, let me call it, is something that does not have physical existence, right? If I say I am rich, if I tell you that, oh, I am rich, what makes you think that I'm rich is whether I have some cash with me, even though cash, uh, in knowing whether somebody is rich, especially for valuations, in knowing whether somebody is rich, you usually use properties, right? But let's take it like, because of course, like a normal person would think that of course it's cash. Now, the proof of my, if I say I'm rich, I'm only talking about title. There is no physical existence. If I now show you the cash, then that is documents. Documents provide proof of title. That's why you say C of O. C of O is both a title, which is the status of the land, and also documents. So we'll get there. But documents are records, they are agreements that sometimes you use them to transfer ownership, sometimes you use them to also prove ownership. All right. Now, what are the key real estate land titles? Let's go into it one after the other. But before I say it, I would like to hear feedback from you. What are the key land titles that you know? Let me call, is it Mrs. Eunice or Miss Eunice? Anyone? Then Becky will go next. What are the key land titles that you know?
Sir, I know of C of O, governor's consent, Supreme Court judgment,
Okay.
and excision.
Okay. Thank you. Becky, what are the land titles that you know? For us or against us? I want someone else, like a voluntary volunteer. The land
I
titles that
know
you
of
know, apart from
this
the ones.
this this Queen Esther. I know
Okay,
of
yeah.
Gazette. He has mentioned CFO Excision,
Okay,
and
you
then
said
that
which other one?
Gazette,
Which other one?
um, CFO
Okay,
Excision,
okay.
Freehold. Yes.
All right. Thank you very much. You have an idea of what we're talking about. But let's look at the meaning. And I may be saying some things that you've not heard, but it's the fact that there are land titles, and I've mentioned the meaning of land titles, right? The first one I'll talk about is freehold. So in Nigeria, because of course tomorrow you may be a realtor in the UK, maybe a realtor in other countries, so you need to also know how their system also work over there. And if you have money, please go and take a course in those countries too. So don't just limit yourself to Nigeria, right? Now, freehold means absolute ownership. It means that your ownership is without limit. That is the freehold in the UK. The UK kind of freehold means that there's nothing like 99 years. There's nothing like ownership for 99 years or for 50 years or for 25 years. No, 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 no. Once you own it for life. Absolute ownership. But the freehold in Nigeria is the fact that that land is free from government acquisition. So please get it right. The freehold in Nigeria does not mean that, because the freehold in Nigeria means that you still have to go to the government to get it registered. That's why the MD said, okay, we have a freehold, we are going to get this, we are going to get that. Normally, if the freeholders, we don't need charting information. What we need to get is the title number of that freehold title, and then we'll just go ahead to do what we call our certified true copy of that title at the government office. And then we have it to show that, oh, this title has been registered. But the freehold in Nigeria only shows that that particular land has a title of free from government acquisition. That means as at that time, it is not under any acquisition of government. That is what freehold means in Nigeria. But don't take that same knowledge abroad, because freehold abroad in major countries, it means that that title does not have limits. It is, once you own it from generation to generation. Now, we'll still get to the issue of 99 and all of that. So just follow me one step at a time. Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about is leasehold. Now, we talked about freehold. We are going to talk about leasehold. Now, freehold is the opposite of leasehold. Now, leasehold title is a title that you own for a specific period, a fixed period. And the usual period is 99 years. In Nigeria, especially for residential plots, they give you 99 years. For some commercial plots, they may give you less than that. If it's for agriculture, they may also give you less than that. So you need to now renew it after that period. So I hope you understand leasehold, and I hope you understand freehold now. Now, an example of a leasehold title is a certificate of occupancy, because it is a government issued title that shows that you have the authority of the government to occupy that land for a specific period, which is usually 99 years. Now, if you look at the word certificate of occupancy, it is certificate to occupy, not certificate to do what? To own. So government is careful with the words they have used in that place. Occupation means you can stay there, but that doesn't mean you are the owner. So by virtue of the Land Use Act of 1978, all landowners in Nigeria are not owners. They are only occupiers. They are only in possession of the land, because government trumped the authority to own land perpetually by virtue of that law. Whether the law is good or bad, let's not start, because we may not finish it in this class. So, certificate of occupancy means that government has given you the right to occupy that particular land, which is usually 99 years. Now, the next thing is governor's consent. When you buy a property, or your client buys a property that has a C of O title, government does not usually, and I choose the word usually intentionally, and I'm going to explain why. Government does not usually give two C of O's in respect of the same land. So when a new owner buys it, what the new owner will get is the consent of the government that that transaction or the land has been transferred from Mr. A to Mr. B, and government now approves that transfer. So the C of O is one, but approval can be in many numbers, because You can transfer from Mr. A to Mr. B to Mr. C. So government keeps approving that transfer. They don't need to issue a new CFO. Now, why did I say government does not usually grant CFO, two CFOs in respect of one land? It is because we've seen that it has happened. So I cannot say government does not. It would not be perfect. So as a realtor, please know that also. Sometimes, I don't know, I can't really say whether by mistake or by error, that has happened in some cases. Now, another word or another title, you may not be well familiar with this if you are not selling buildings in places like Lekki, VI, Ikoyi, and the rest. But we have people who are sometimes they use sublease as title, right? Now, sublease is the same thing as CFO, or let me say, is the same thing as governor's consent. That's like the perfect match for it. Now, don't forget, we said a CFO title is a leasehold title. That means it is a lease for a period of time, which is 99 years, usually 99 years. Now, you know what you people used to do? Let me I'm accusing you wrongly, maybe, but if you have done it, that means I'm right. Because I've seen a lot of tenants do that to me. In fact, one wanted to do that recently, and I had to stand my ground. So he left the house. He called me and he told me, "Oh, Barrister Samuel, even he tried to make friends with me and all that. They just transferred me from Lagos to this state. Because of that, uh, I'll be going, but my wife will still be around, you know, and my brother, you know." But at the end of the day, it turned out that he moved all his things, no wife, nobody, and then he wanted to sublet the property to another person. The only person that has the right to give out property is the landlord, right? Yes or yes, yes. Now, but he wanted to do that. So what he wanted to do was a sublease. That means he had a lease with us. If you are doing anything, if you are granting part of your right to another person, it is called sublease. So in normal tenancy, when you say, "Oh, I have this 2 bedroom, but I want my friend to come and stay with me, but she will be paying me the rent, then I'll pay the landlord." Now, what you have done is a sublease because you have given part of your rights to the to your friend. Now, in CFO too, because it's a leasehold title, you have 99 years. When you give part of it, let's say 90 years to another person, what you have done is a sublease. So if you see it in any transaction and they say tied to sublease, don't say, which one is sublease? So you already understand what it is. It's just like governor's consent. It's like, oh, the owner of the CFO has transferred it to another person. So what we have now is not the main lease from government, but a sublease. That means something less than the lease. All right. I hope I've not confused you. Okay, we'll get to questions if you have any questions. Now, the next thing is the excision. Okay, I can see some. So, the next thing is excision, gazette, government allocation. Now, before I explain these three titles, you need to understand from this the issues that we had from Section 1 of the Land Use Act 1978. That law says that all land, right, in Nigeria, the overseeing power now belongs to the governor of that state. So it means that Governor Sanwo-Olu of Lagos now has oversight power over the land in Lagos. Now, what that meant is that government now had the power to say, okay, this land has been acquired by us. Okay, we want to use it for Fame City, we want to use it for uh which other project now? We want to use it for Coastal Road, we want to use it for this and that. Now, when they did that, it means that government acquired those land. That's what we call government acquisition. Sometimes we say it's a global acquisition. Sometimes we say it's a committed acquisition. In fact, these days, the line between the two is becoming very blur. I tell you, when I thought this, when I thought this particular topic 5 years ago, I wouldn't have said this. But in recent times, even land that nothing is on top of it. That means when you check it, you can't see, let's say, Labour City or whatever. You can only see that, oh, this land is not free. Even right now, government is beginning to play some pranks. Sometimes they will now, you know, say they want to sell those land as government allocation. So the line between global acquisition and committed is becoming very blurred. Right. So when the land is under government acquisition, the process of removing it from government allocation are these three guys: Excision Gazette and government allocation. Excision is where government themselves on their own, although sometimes influenced by the kings, the ballads, and all of that, right? And sometimes they do it if government needs their help too. They'll say, oh yeah, release the land to us so that we too can use that one to hold body. So government will release it back to the community. That means the land is now freehold. They release it back. Now, sometimes government just release it. That means you go and check it and you see that in your charting the land is free, but they've not put it in their gazette. A gazette is now that official record to say that this land has been given to so community in Ibejileki local government, so community in Ekpe local government, so community in Badagry local government, so community in Aja, right? That is where it becomes official. Because sometimes if it is free on the surface, before you know it, after some time they may put another thing on it. Now, the third process by which government releases land is through government allocation. Now, government allocation means that government is selling it to you. That's just let's call a spade a spade. So this is government land. You know it is government land. You have approached government and government says, okay, bring so amount per square meter or per plot. And then, so government will not say they are selling it to. So if you get assessment, what they will put there is called premium. So you pay other fees like stamp duty, what's the name of this fee now? Consent and some other fees. But another thing that you pay, different from somebody who bought a freehold land, is what we call premium. If you go for your assessment, means a list of what you are supposed to pay for the government to grant you C of O. So if you want government to grant you for freehold land, and that's one of the things you should tell anybody that wants to sell the land that MD pitched to you, is that a freehold land is cheaper. I can tell you categorically, it's cheaper compared to government allocation land. So I was doing a C of O before government said everything should be on hold in Ekpe for a 2-plot land, and I can tell you that the amount we pay was less than ₦1 million for the assessment, but you can't try that with the government acquisition land. You are going to pay more than that, right? So let's go to land documents, right? I hope you are following. Please let me know if you are following with your favorite emoji. Am I making any sense so far? All right, I can see 1.5. Okay, I think I'm making sense. All right. All right. So let's look at documents. Now, these are the documents that you can use, right, to prove ownership, to prove title, right? So it's receipt. Receipt is good if you don't have any documents or if the person is dead. But if you are still alive, go and get a better one. But receipt shows that at least money pass from one person to the other. Because I can tell you without receipt, sometimes people can tell you that you were a Father Christmas and you only sent them as a gift. Now, deed of assignment is a better document to show that there is a transfer of title of ownership from one person to the other. So let me explain this terminology, because a lot of you have seen deed of assignment, but you may not know what it means legally. So let me break it down. Deed is a form of contract. So there are different types of contracts. We have oral contract, that means we just said it by mouth, we never wrote it down. We have written contract, and we have formal contract. That means a contract under deed, which is supposed to be signed, sealed, and delivered. So a deed is an agreement, right? Let's call it that, or a formal agreement. Assignment is a legal word which means transfer. So assignment, so I can assign my shares to you, and not just shares, I can also assign my debt to you. So if I'm owing Queen Esther, I can assign my debt to Alphco that they should help me pay it if they are willing to, right? So I can assign that debt and say, please help me pay this one. So Queen Esther will now have to go to them to get her money. Then you can also assign your rights too. So whether rights or liabilities, you can do both. So when you now combine these two words together, that means an agreement to transfer or a deed to transfer. So in fact, in some states they use deed of transfer. At least I know I've seen one of the documents that I can submit to the Edo State governor, or sorry, Edo State government to process your title is a deed of transfer. So that makes sense. All right. Then we also have contract of sale. So if your client is paying in installments, get a contract of sale. The reason is because if the seller dies while the contract is still subsisting, that means the person is still paying, and there's no document to show that there was a transaction between the two, it can become story. There was a particular person that reached out, and he said the person was paying. Okay, I think the person dropped a comment on one of my videos. The person was paying for the land, and at the end of, like, while he was doing the payments, unfortunately, the man died. And when he went to the land to start doing something, the woman came and said, no, what are you doing here? The woman brought police, they arrested the person. And he said, I've been paying for land to your husband. I said, my husband didn't tell me anything. It's not every husband that will tell their wife what they are doing. So it becomes a problem. But if you have documents to show, it makes more sense. So it's a temporary agreement between the buyer and the seller. And it's not just to show that they have a transaction. It's also to show that how are you going to pay the money? What happens if you don't pay? Right? What are the things we can do? So all of these things are there. Then we have survey plan. Survey plan is an official document showing the location of the land, the boundaries, the size, the coordinates. The coordinates of a land shows the location of the land on Earth. So if you share coordinates of the land in Abeokuta to your clients in the UK, that client can see where the land is from where he is, right? So that's the work of a coordinate. Then, of course, a survey plan, and the coordinates is part of the survey plan. Then we have probate or letter of administration. I know this may be strange, but then it is also a land document. So when do you need probate and letter of administration? If the seller is dead, so the name is Mr. AA, but the Mr. AA is dead, right? So how can the family show that they have the authority of Mr. AA to sell? It is through probate. Probate is if Mr. AA left a will, they will go and get probate in court. Letter of administration is if you did not leave a will, right, but they've gone to court and they've obtained what we call letter of administration, it will also show that. Then we have C of O and R of O. Now, before I talk about this, there is also a title that I did not mention in this slide, which is Supreme Court judgment. And some people have argued that Supreme Court judgment is better than CFO, or CFO is better than Supreme Court judgment. For me, I say that it is the one that comes before another. Yeah, so the first, the one that comes after another, right? Both of them are good titles. So Supreme Court judgment is just says that these families, many families on the island have gone to court, up to Supreme Court. If you look at families of Ojomu families, they have a lot of land, all the way from around Pinnock Beach Estate to Sapa, some axis in that area, up to, in fact, some part of Ikota, you will still see Ojomu. So, but they had to fight for the land up to Supreme Court level. So that becomes a title. But of course, they still got their CFO title. All right, so that's that. Now, what is CFO? We've mentioned CFO. So CFO comes in documents also, and there's also RFO. RFO is a title in that is, so if you are selling properties in Abuja, you will see RFO, and it's because Abuja has a very strong local government, but a very weak state government, and the reason is because federal government is there now. So it's just like when Daddy G of Redeem is on the pulpit and one pastor wants to flex muscle. So the federal government is there, right? Tinubu is there. Wike cannot be shouting more than him. You understand? So that's why Abuja has a very weak state government. So you have a minister. You understand? Now, and so their local government, in fact, they call it what's the name of this? They call it local council or something. I've forgotten. I stayed in Abuja for my law school. I've forgotten. It's very prominent there. So these local governments are very powerful, right? And so they can issue RFO, right? Now, RFO is not as strong as CFO. So even if you are in Abuja, I will still advise that you still go for a CFO, right? But normally, Ibeju-Lekki local government is supposed to be issuing RFO by law. Normally, let me even tell you this. Normally, state government shouldn't have anything to do with Pe, Badagry, and all those land because they are outskirts. The state government only has to concern themselves with urban land, right? Places like VI and co. But you know, a lot of things are happening. So we have that coming up where you have state governments meddling in rural areas. Normally, you should go and get your CFO from Ekpe local government, RFO rather, from Ekpe local government. And it's very tenable anyway, right? So if you have land in Badagry or Ikorodu, just go and get your RFO from there. So normally RFO is still in the law, but you know, the state governments in the states, we have very weak local governments. So of course, everybody has to go to demand at the secretariat. All right, so that's that. Now we also have Gazette. Gazette is a title, it's also a document. I've mentioned what a Gazette is, and if you have not seen how a Gazette looks like, please, you need to see one. So Gazette usually is like a law, right? So you see how government has excised certain land, they've given back some land. There's a particular land around what's the name now? Around General Paints after Ibrahim Adesanya. So that land, they gave them, I don't know who granted it them. They had a lot of hectares, like almost unbelievable. They can't grant that again. Like Lagos cannot grant that kind of land. So at some point, the government revoked that title. Of course, that was too much. So they revoked it and then gave it back to them by Gazette. So they gave back the land by Gazette, right? So that's one of the things government does. So it's like government records of land that government has given back. Then we have government allocation is also in documents. You can see that and verify. Then we have power of attorney. Power of attorney for realtors, you should know power of attorney, because sometimes a client wants you to represent them. Ask them for a power of attorney, especially if you want to manage houses for them, or you want to be in charge of a sale on their behalf. So currently, I'm in charge of a sale for my client. The client is not in Nigeria, and I got a power of attorney from him to show that I can act on his behalf. Right? So power of attorney. Please don't go and say power of Anthony. People say that a lot. So please don't. It's not Anthony, it's attorney. So attorney is like a lawyer, it's like a representative. So attorney is another word for a lawyer or a barrister, right? So when you now say it's power of attorney, that means it's power that is like the power of a lawyer, like a representative of that person. Then we have court judgment. Court judgment is a ruling that says that this land belongs to this person, just like Supreme Court judgment. It's a document. So if people say, we have court judgment, please don't fall for it too. I remember one of my clients bought a land. He had already paid some millions for the land, and they told him, don't worry, we've won the case. Unfortunately, they won at the High Court. So those people went to the Court of Appeal and they won. Now they are at the Supreme Court. So that means the client is in between two families. So you need to read this as a realtor, or you get a lawyer to review the judgment, to be able to, so that you can know whether that judgment is in favor of that party or not. This is 8:19. I think I've really spent time. I should round off now. 8:19. How many more minutes do I have? How many more minutes, sir? Please let me know so I can just round off within that time. How many more minutes, sir? I can see the love, but that love can mean many things. 10. Is it up to 10 minutes?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. You have up to 10 minutes.
All right. So let me quickly. So now we've looked at title, and I hope you've been able to pick one or two things from titles and documents. So how can you use them? See, when a client is asking you for documents, don't frown. Don't say, why are you pressuring? Please provide those things, because it builds credibility and it builds their trust. Because if you shun them away, they'll start looking at you that you don't know your job. Then it also determines market value, speeds up your sales process, it enables financing. Some clients will ask you because they want to take a loan. And let me also say this, that a lot of the diaspora clients take loans to buy properties. So when they ask you for documents, please provide it. Then it also prevents legal disputes and fraud. So sometimes it also protects you as a realtor, so that at least those documents are available, not like they are audio documents. Now, how can you incorporate them in your marketing? Number one, when you list the properties, always use this. I know a lot of realtors, they'll say, it has a stay of full title, it has a freehold title, it has this. And please, we need to start correcting some things. Registered survey is not a title. You saw that I didn't mention it in all the titles. It's only a marketing strategy. Of course, it's only a marketing strategy. It's not a title. Registered survey, because what we have seen over time too, although normally registered survey is a document, but then it was very strong at some points, especially in Ogun State. If you have a registered survey, it's almost like you have a CFO. Unfortunately, now things are beginning to change, because land is becoming very valuable, and of course, realtors, you people cost it, because now land is selling, and anything that there's a lot of demand for, of course, the value increase. So that's why even government themselves, they are looking for how they can get some, right? So then you can use it in client meetings. So How can you use this knowledge? You can use in client meetings, your sales presentations. When they ask you questions, you should be able to defend yourself. Then also in your marketing on social media, uh, you should be able to tell people about so what you have learned today. I need you to put on your camera and talk about it. The best way, see, this is how I learn. In fact, one of the easiest way that made me to make a first class is because when I learn something, I teach people. Some people have come to me over time and they will say, why are you dishing out so much knowledge on social media? For me, I always like to share. So it's not something that, why would you kick back information? So go there, share your knowledge. Don't say, I don't know too much. When you share it and they come after you, it will drive you to go and learn more, right? And also, it will also help you during due diligence, right? This knowledge will help you in due diligence. When you do social media content like that, it helps you to gain credibility because people now trust you and say, okay, this person knows so much, then we can trust him with our investment. What are the common challenges with this? The challenge is buyers don't understand the relevance of title documents. Your solution is that use simple languages. For me, if you check my videos, I hardly even talk about the case of so or section so because I'm not talking to lawyers, right? So my audience are people who don't understand section so. But if I come to them and I speak to them like I'm speaking to a friend, that makes sense. So when you are explaining things to your audience to please make it very simple and straightforward. Then another challenge is some properties lack proper documentation. Please work with legally verified property. Please kindly mute your mic. Okay. So work with legally verifiable properties. This is very key because at the end of the day, if if the properties are not verified, it becomes a problem. And like I said, it is only you that they know. Another challenge is buyers fear government acquisition or legal issues. Sell properties that are free from acquisition. Then another challenge is fraudulent land sales due to fake documents. Always conduct your due diligence. And sometimes due diligence cannot be too much. Sometimes you may think everything is good, but of course there's a lot of bad products out there. If you're able to do all of these things, I guarantee you that your sales will increase and you also have peace of mind. You can sleep like a baby. Yes, but because it's not just about closing deals. I've missed certain deals in the past that I later came back to thank God that thank God I didn't close this deal. And I know maybe some of you can say this also. So sometimes too, when deals don't come my way and I've done my part, I just let it go, right? And also buyers feel more confident, right? And it reduces negotiation time because you know your onions. Then also you can build reputation for transparency and reliability. And the result of this is faster sales and higher trust level. People will trust you and they will also refer you to other people. Then in conclusion, we looked at title documents, we looked at how it is essential to your real estate transactions, we looked at documentation and the fact that it can build trust. We have also looked at the fact that you should educate buyers about title documents because if you say it, if you let them know about it, when you pitch properties to them, see one thing that helps you to close clients easily is when they come to you and they tell you that please I need so property or please they are not asking you which school you went to, how long have you been in real estate, because your videos have convinced them already. So they are ready clients that they are ready to take your advice and you'll be able to close the deal faster. Thank you for listening, and this is how you can connect with me online. Thank you very much. So I'll take questions now.
Thank you. Um, Barrister. Please, if you have any question, please, let's kindly, okay, the floor is open.
Which your favorite emoji? Let's appreciate um, Barrister. Let's appreciate him. Please keep appreciating. Keep appreciating. You saw the way he was. When someone tells you you made first class and Obafemi Awolowo will come back to their case, they give you first class. So you saw the way he took us through. It was like a journey, which it was a journey. It took us from the foundation, and in all honesty, I was actually refreshing my head. I remember when we connected online back then, I was doing content, he was pushing content, and he was even more consistent than I am. And thank God for where we are today. So, and this is one part of real estate that I enjoy the most. You see, when people like him take clients to sites or they talk to clients, it is easier for them to close deals than a realtor that just know what is on the flyer. They say the land is CFO. They say the land is this. But even if the property is a registered survey document and a freehold, and the client is still telling you, I need a CFO, or will you people give me CFO? You need to educate them. I've been battling with one this week. Then another thing again is in the area of you chasing titles, the new titles up and down, you need to also look at the cost of the land, which our guest speaker also mentioned to us that for a particular land, I think in Ekpe, about 2 plots, they paid minimum of 1 million naira to get that title done for a CFO. I think it was a CFO. So you should see, imagine adding that 1 million naira to the amount that person bought the land. I'm very sure that land would be like a land banking land for them to be able to even get a 1 million naira payment at the lands registry. So this training is one of our best training because it is part of the product knowledge you need. Aside knowing everything about product, title is very, very important. And how you can use it to market well as a realtor is very key. Please, let's appreciate him. Let's appreciate him. It is not easy. It takes only a genius to be able to come up with things like this. You may have a first class in something and you may not be able to convert it to use, like make that in commercial. You went to school, you studied, you got you are the overall best in school. But if you can't bring it to the market use, then it's useless. And this is what he's doing. He's using it to help people, providing solution to people. And thank you very much, sir. We are indeed grateful for tonight's section. Thank you. We are honored. So if you have question, okay, Becky, you can go on with your question.
Thank you very much. Barrister, thank you. Thank you for the lectures. Good evening, everyone. Please, am I coming out clear?
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay, Barrister, I have a question. I have had some deals that has been going on well, and immediately the client says, I'll contact my lawyer. That will be the end of the deal. For example, there's one I've been battling for the past 1 month now, and the lawyer demanded for the documents to go for the search, which I gave him the coordinates, and he said he does not want the coordinates. That he said the coordinates, that anyone can send someone else's coordinates. So he said he wanted the registration for the deed of assignment. And when I contacted the company to send that, they said they don't give it out. So that if the lawyer wants to see it, he should come to the office to cite it. That what they normally give out is the coordinates, that he should use the coordinates. So I've been going back and forth on that. And at this point, I do not know how else to come in. So I don't know if there anything I can do, because I had 2 different cases like this last year. And that one was a case of immediately the lawyer got the deed, that was all. I think the lawyer cornered the client. I don't even want to go there. But this one, he's insisting that he wants the deed, registration of the deed of assignment, which the company has refused to release, and insists that the lawyer must come to the office to cite it. And the lawyer is
Let me look at consultation. So this particular property, is it a C of O property? Did you get my question, Becky?
no,
Is the
it
property
has
a C of O?
no, not a C of O.
So what title is it?
It has deed of assignment.
Oh, so there is no government registered title on it.
No. They are still processing the
So we
seal.
shouldn't be talking about,
Sorry?
we're talking about the so let me say this as a background, and I'll say this on the backdrop of what the MD said when I finish my session. Please, as much as possible, the only way you can kick off any lawyer is if you have the same. I'm not saying the same, let me not say the same, so that you won't feel like, how can I know as much as a lawyer? But you also be limiting yourself if you think you cannot know as much as a lawyer, because the lawyer also went to school and he learned this thing. It's not like he brought it from heaven or somewhere. And the lawyer has many things to deal with. As far as I'm concerned, many lawyers do several practice. Although I, for like 5 to 6 years now, decided I want to do real estate alone. And I've been doing that. I started doing several practice when I started, in my early years. But later I said, no, let me focus on real estate. Now, the fact is, this deal is as good as knowledge. The only thing that I can see that is a trouble here is just knowledge gap. Except you are not giving me other information about this. But if everything that has happened here is what you have told me, the only thing that is different here is just knowledge gap. Because you can't be asking for a registered deed. If I'm face to face with that lawyer, I'll tell the lawyer, why are you asking for a registered deed when we have told you that this property has not been registered? The only way when you talk about registered deed is like another name for governor's consent. That was why I asked you, does it have a C of O? So it means that if the property has a C of O in the name of Alphco, and the property was sold to Becky now wants to sell it to, let's say, Queen Esther. What Queen Esther will be asking for is a registered deed between Alphco and Becky, which is another name for governor's consent. Because since we said you cannot have 2 CFOs in respect of the same property, what you'll be having is a deed between Alphco and Becky, which is now registered. And how do you know that it's registered? It comes with a registration title number, which is usually 2-digit number slash another 2-digit slash another 4-digit in most cases. So let's say 9292 1992, right? But in this case, this property may be a land banking property that is affordable, and you can't be asking for too much. If you want to buy a CFO property that has a registered deed, then you go for another property. You also can say, okay, I have another one if this is what you want, but this is what your budget is, this is what you can get. that property has not been registered. You can't be asking for a registered deed. There's nothing like that. There's nothing like that. So what the lawyer is basically asking for does not exist in this case, right? Now, another thing that I would like to point out is a lot of realtors say lawyers corner their deals. Yes, in some cases, I've heard that a lot, even though it's a sharp practice that I don't indulge in. In fact, we've done deals of even houses and land and all of that. And once I come as a lawyer and say, "Okay, come and help me check this property," that is what I am there to do. In fact, there was even a client that said, you to help me look for property now. I said, we are into this industry. I did not do. Now, that does not mean that some lawyers don't do. Except I now feel like, okay, this person has suggested properties to us, and all the while we couldn't even get, maybe by the way of budget or by anything, but not like you distort your own judgment based on the fact that you want the client to come to you. For me, that's unprofessional. That's unprofessional. Not like I know that the answer is yes, but because I want to get both the agency and the legal. I would not say no. That's unprofessional. And whoever is doing it, don't worry, they'll face their water. But what I want to say is that if you conduct your sales properly on a superior knowledge, forget it, you will knock down any lawyer. Because what the lawyer is standing on is also knowledge. The difference between you and the lawyer is knowledge. So take for example, you have pitched a particular property, and then don't forget that even you realtor, you box us lawyers sometimes. I've been I've been on a transaction. The client was trying to buy a property, a house of I think about 200 million. And then the agent was like, what are you talking about? I've been in this industry for more than 8 years. And why will you say somebody wants to buy a property that has governor's consent already? And then you are saying they should go and look for the CFO number. You need that too. I say, I need it because you need to trace the title to the root. You can't say you have something. In law, we say you can't put something on nothing and expect it to stand. So we had back and forth until later. From my due diligence, I even saw that the governor's consent that they said they had did not even extend to that point where the land is. So the whole estate is one, but the governor's consent only covered a part of it. And so that guy lost that deal. Then the client said, help me look for another land. Now, later I got another realtor. Then we now later closed the deal. I collected my money now. So, but it's not in all cases that it will be like that. But I want to tell you that if you have superior knowledge like this lawyer has, you will still be able to stand your ground and say, no, this is this. And you will tell the client to go and verify properly that the lawyer is not feeding him with the right information. That you can decide not to close this deal, but it will be painful to you if this client is misled. Right? And as much as possible, don't suggest a lawyer from you, because that may actually affect the weight that the person will attach to whatever your lawyer says. But the person may give you that benefit of doubt based on your confidence, how you are communicating this thing. Because what you just told me now, forget, there's no substance in it. There's nothing like registered deed if the property does not have a CFO already or a government registered title. Another thing that may apply is stamp duty, because some people will take a deed of assignment, they will go to court and go and pay stamp duty, whatever. That is not registration, as it were. It's not title. It's just for people. Sometimes people do it so that they can pay tax on it and then go and use it to do their building approval while they are waiting for CFO or governor's consent to be out. I hope I've answered your question.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. And thank you for the question. Are you satisfied or you want to ask?
No, what I wanted to point out, barrister, I don't think that lawyer is a property lawyer. I know there are different types of lawyers, criminal, just that the client just saw a lawyer and said, this lawyer should confirm, because I was asking him some questions. The way he was replying me, I was like, this person does not know much about property. But I was trying to convince the client. The client was like, whatever my lawyer says stands. Do you understand that kind of thing?
And
So,
that's I understand that. I understand that perfectly. These things happen, and I think you also be in the shoe of the client also. Take for example, you go to an hospital and you saw a random guy within the premises of the hospital and say, ah, what this doctor prescribed to you is not the right thing. No. You are likely to look at the guy and say, ah, where are you coming from? My doctor said I should do this, and then you asked me to do the other one. But I'm still also saying that yes, we have that's one of the issues that are happening in the industry. And let me also say this, that you are right to say that maybe he's not a property lawyer, because when I was doing other practice and I wasn't into real estate, there were a number of things I did not know in property. And right now that I've dedicated my many years of experience into property, I know what I did not know those years. So these things happen, right? But I will also say that where you cannot counter him on knowledge base, let's say specific things that has to do with this particular issue now, the person may not be able to, because what the person may even know may not be, because you know that what most of us know as lawyers coming from law school, and this is a privileged knowledge, is based on registered titles. Most of these other titles, uh, let's say, uh, uh, freehold, there's nothing like seal of food that we can get title number. Most people will not know how to search. I'm just telling you how it is. So, Becky, I will say that try your best, but if the deal doesn't come through, just let it go. But I also say that use this as an aggression to immerse yourself into anything that has to do with property law, right? So that by the time you have issues like this, you'll be able to use that knowledge against any lawyer. So when you're even talking, and you tell your client that, see, what I'm saying, I am sure anywhere you want to take it to, go and verify. This lawyer did not say the right thing. You can tell them, I'm not a lawyer, but I've been in this industry, I'm this. And sometimes some of the things you also do when you go for trainings, let them know you went for training. So when they contact you and you're saying these things, it makes a lot of sense to them. So sorry about that. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr.
thank you,
Barrister
sir.
Samuel.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I want to believe Becky asked the right question that a whole lot of realtors on this call have been experiencing. And I even forgot to even tell Mr. Samuel that many of his colleagues have been, don't let me finish that line. So, thank you very much. Thank you for that answer. And this is also a wake up call for every realtor. This thing, you see Mr. Samuel himself saying it that he had to focus on real estate. If he had been probably is doing his other practices, he may not get the full knowledge. Me asking that question alone, me, a lot of people usually mistake me to be, I've been in, some people will just call me the law. This one will call me. A lot of people even know me more as a lawyer, as a property lawyer, than because I've done many transactions. I remember I used to go to transaction then on behalf of my lawyer. On behalf of my lawyer, I know what a lawyer will ask in any transaction. So I know you. So you need to just give yourself that knowledge, that time, close time, go to, I don't do it anymore, though I'm resuming back bit by bit, but there's no time. Go to Mr. Sam, can you please share your your online this thing so that people can visit your TikTok page. Go there and soak yourself in knowledge. And soak yourself in knowledge. This topic that we've done today is not a one day something. It's not a one day. He mentioned so many things on the peripheral that deed of agreement, deed of assignment, deed of transfer, they are deep. They are deep that if you start explaining, you would think it's night vigil. Even down to some in the East, some people use power of attorney. In the East, power of attorney is their title there in some parts. And they will come to Lagos and be looking for C of O. So if you don't have enough knowledge, you won't be able to counter something. And from this, your transaction now, Madam Becky, I can categorically say that lawyer is not a practicing property lawyer. So thank you. Um, who is there again? All right, somebody is raising his or her hand. You can check your screen for Mr. Samuel's page. Go and soak yourself in enough with enough knowledge, please. Just go to TikTok and type first class property lawyer. You see him there. Samuel Tiamiyu, please. You see him there. There's a lot of content, a whole lot of content that you will learn like a baby. So, Ajayi Caroline, you can ask your question. Okay, Ajayi Oluwabusayomi. Okay.
Okay, good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone. Hello, good
Good evening.
evening.
You can go ahead with your question. We can hear you.
I have two questions, although one have already been answered partially about this lawyer of a thing. Because I wanted to ask him that why did most lawyer like try to block rectors on deals? Because I have some of my clients that like my colleagues that if the client is not around, they're like, let my lawyer come for the inspection. Do we decline that? Like, no, Oga, when you are around, you can come. And this kind of thing also happened to me. Like, I closed a deal like 3 months ago or so. This lawyer of a thing always like want to ruin everything for me. But at a point, I tried to be blunt with the man. Like, I don't even like talk to him like a client again. I was just like, okay, let me just educate this man. He go by, you know, go by. Let me just stop my mind. Because we've already concluded, okay, well, this is what he said his brother inspection. The man is in Germany. And when I got there, I see the live video with him, with his brother, and everything was going smooth. Now, for the man, for us to close the deal, the next thing he said, my lawyer said, he will just be sending message different. My lawyer said, my lawyer said, my lawyer said, like all this annoying question. But I'm kind of person that all this question is not even like freak me because I've had a lot about that. So I just like talk to this man, but at the end of the day, we close the deal. But so my question to Mr. Samuel is why are these lawyer? Why are they like this? Why do they always want to like block rector's deal? And my second question is you from the title you said a lease a sublease that is someone that is occupying a particular property can like release it to someone else, like maybe they would be like as in like just you said parts like party lead to something like that. Is it right under the law? That is what I want to know. Thank you, sir.
I don't know if it was my network or I think at some point.
Okay, can you hear me, Mr. Sam?
Yes, very well.
All right, Ajayi, you can mute your end from your end. So our
Okay, sir.
question, she had two questions. And the first one was that though she said it has been answered, that why do lawyers like to, in quotes, corner realtors' transactions? She made mention of her personal experience, and though the deal was closed, yeah, the
Yeah,
deal.
I got that part.
Then our
I
main
think it was the second
question,
one when she talked about sublease.
yeah, our main question was that you mentioned sublease. And she asked that is it right under the law? Is it legal to do such a thing? I don't know, Ajayi. Am I
Yeah,
correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
yeah. So okay, I understand where you're coming from, which is because I talked about sublease for tenants, right? If you have a house right? Sublease is legal so far the other party is aware and they ratify it. So if let's use the example of your landlord is aware that you want to sublease. In fact, some people they will rent a whole duplex, they will partition it into shared apartments, but the landlord is aware, right? And then maybe they rented the duplex for let's say 20 million and they partition it and they're able to make 25 million. 5 million goes to them, 20 million goes to the landlord. That's fine. Everybody is good. Just the same thing applies to land also. By virtue of section 22, 23 of the Land Use Act, you are supposed to, make the government aware that you are selling part of your interest or all your interest. So if government has granted you CFO for a 2 plots land and you want to sell one plot out of it, you should let them know, right? That's what we call governor's consent. So that's the way it is. Now, if you want to sell, let's say, oh, we are not even selling uh the whole, maybe you want to not even part of it, you want to sell everything. So the whole maybe 2 plots, right? You still have to let them know. So that's what governor's consent is. So it is legal. Now the part of lawyers is still the same thing. See, let me tell you something. Maybe you don't see it this way, but transactions are wars. I'm just telling you the way it is. That's the way it is. It is a war. So if you don't see it that way, maybe you just see that we went to site, we did video, we posted it. Posting it for people to even see alone and they contacted you, you have won one part of the war. Then you move to the next stage. You know the way we used to play game and then from one stage to the other. That is until you now even close the transaction, right? And then the allocation, and so it's a business. And I don't, sometimes when I speak to realtors don't see their what they are doing as a business. It is a business. And you're even supposed to be registered. Even if you are not registered, you should see it as a business. So if you see it like, oh, I'm a businesswoman, I'm a businessman, and a businessman that goes to Alaba or open shop in Oshodi, he knows that anything can happen that day. One day they can come and say, we are locking up your shop because you did not do this, because it is war. So if you go and today you are able to sell, thank God. If you are not able to sell, or maybe you ran at a loss, so it's a war. So if any lawyer comes, you know that this person is one of the people that will come against you. Then you have to be prepared, in different ways to be able to tackle. So don't see it like why are these people? Because that's what most people will see, like just like the way you people are seeing it this way. We too as lawyers, we have our own too. So take for example a client contacts you and say, oh, I want to buy this property. Sometimes we'll go all the way, do all the checks and all of that. And like in my own case, if I know that okay, I'm going to be doing documentation for this client, I try to give them discounts for the due diligence stage, right? Because I know that at least when I do the documents, I'll be able to get or recoup whatever amount I might have lost in the process. So, but then sometimes at the end of the day, they'll tell you, sorry, I don't think I should buy the property again. It has happened severally, right? But we know that we are in business, or let me say, I'm in business. You lose some, you win some. But let it be that when you lose, it is not your fault. Let me be sincere with you. It's not in all cases that uh, it will be the lawyers, it may be other things too. So, but what I'm saying is that let it be that you fought the lawyer on the basis of knowledge. Don't let it look like you know more than the guy. But the guy will know in his mind that I've not met this realtor before, right? That this one is not my match. They will know in their mind. And for those who have pure mind, they will come back and say, let's buy from this person. You understand? So that's just the way it is. So what I would say is that it's still on this issue of knowledge. Immerse yourself in knowledge so much, and knowledge is everywhere, is on the media. Once you know that this person teaches good knowledge about real estate, Go and watch what they are saying. Then attend trainings, attend conferences, attend you little here, little there. Before you know, in 1 year, even you look at yourself and like, I have really improved. You understand what you have learned today? For some people who missed it, sorry, but I hope they catch up, because you can hardly hear these things everywhere, right? So it's very important. Immerse yourself in knowledge and give yourself to your business. It is your business, right? Except real estate is just by the side for you. And I don't think anybody can even do real estate on the side. Real estate is a very jealous business. Real estate wants you to immerse everything into it. You understand? So just give your best to it. And if you now lose the deal, just the way lawyers also lose deals, right? Developers also lose deals. Governments, even themselves, lose deals. So even if you now lose the deal, know that in your mind, you have given your best and you will raise your head high and look for the next deal that you can close. I wish you all the best.
Please let's appreciate Mr. Samuel. Let's appreciate him. Um, Permit me to use this saying. Tonight we are in a very, very tight setting. You know, when you are in rooms or meetings like this, you hear things, anything that has to do with title, you hear things, you see developers having inner room discussion. These are the kind of discussions they have. I don't even know the school you have to go to. Only if you go to the school of real estate where you can get this, but you still get it on the peripheral. You understand? Then another thing that can help you as a realtor, once in a while, it shouldn't be about the property you are selling every time, every time, every time. Sometimes you don't need to, if you don't want to go the educational route, sometimes just pick one topic, just as he has said, from all the things he has mentioned, pick one topic and create a content on it and post it. You know, when a client is coming to your page, the client has already seen your property. Then the person is now seeing you as a knowledgeable person, a like a thoughtful realtor. The person will be mindful of what he or she will bring to you. And having seen everything on your page, you can even ask the clients, sir, this your lawyer, is this lawyer a property lawyer? You know, they've seen your profile online. Now coming to you in your DM, now saying my lawyer will reach out. You verify, is this person a property lawyer? At that point, you're already they're already telling them this thing is, we are fighting a battle here. Oh. This person knows what he or she is doing. You understand? Those are some kind of minds, like authority you have when you have the right knowledge. Those are the kind of things that give you the mind to ask certain questions in transactions. You understand? So thank you all. Do we have anyone with any question? All right. Okay. Okay. No question. Mr. Machi, thank you very much, sir. We are really grateful. And I know you still wanted to go more and more, but we would still love to have you one more time again before the end of this year, God willing. Thank you very much, sir. We love you. We appreciate you.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
so
sir.
much. I wish
Thank
you
you,
all
sir.
the best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Thank you everyone once again for joining our tonight training. Let us just like what MD just said, and I know every one of us has followed Barrister Samuel. Please, in case you want to learn more, please, let's do that. As we call it a night, please let's go to our various bed and also meditate about what we have learned tonight. I pray may God open and give us understanding in all we do in these sectors. In the name of Jesus. Please, good night, everyone. See you next week, Saturday. And Have a wonderful night rest.